We are following a breaking news situation out of DeKalb County. This is along Memorial Drive southeast at Ivey Prep Academy, where 3 students have been taken to the hospital for minor injuries after a car crashed into a classroom, injuring those 3 students. Now, the driver also suffering injuries. We know that that driver has been taken to the hospital as well. Their condition is not known at this time. So this is an active scene right here over Ivey Prep Academy, that car crashing into a classroom. You can see from our chopper feed here, some of those parents lined up in the back and just traffic growing by the minute. Here's that closer shot of you. You can see some police tape up. We saw earlier DeKalb County Police, DeKalb County fire officials on scene assisting with this investigation, as well as 2 ambulances for those injuries. And I just want to let you guys know we are working to connect with our reporter, Don Shipman. He just touched down on the ground at Ivey Prep Academy. We are working to hear from him on any details that he's learned as this active investigation remains ongoing. If you know somebody at Ivey Prep Academy, a parent possibly, let them know that we are bringing this coverage to them. And we are following for updates, talking to these fire and police officials, investigators, and working to get you the latest details, including on when those students are going to be released. Right now, we know that 3 students were injured after a vehicle crashed into an Ivey Prep Academy classroom. The driver in that situation also taken to the hospital. We do not know the driver's condition at this time. That is the latest on what we do know. What we're working on figuring out for you is, especially for those impacted in the community, are going to be those traffic impacts, as well as any news that we can receive from Ivey Prep Academy school officials. We are waiting momentarily to connect with our reporter, Don Shipman. I'm actually going to go reach out to him right now to see if we can get any updates from him, as he is on the ground talking to those investigators. some news for you all. We are going to be hearing from our reporter Don Shipman here at the top of the noon hour. We'll be bringing that to you momentarily. I wanted to give you some background about this school. Ivey Prep Academy is the first single-gender K-8 charter school for girls in Georgia. Now, this is a school here in DeKalb County, Clayton County, South Fulton, and Atlanta Public Schools. So you can imagine those 3 students now taken to the hospital, worried parents lined up, as you can see from our Chopper 46 feed, just traffic building by the minute. We are following this active scene, talking to investigators. Here in about 1 minute, we'll be hearing from our reporter on the ground, Don Shipman, about any updates regarding this active investigation, including any word from Ivey Prep Academy on the students that are still at the school at this time.
Thanks for being here at noon. We're following multiple breaking stories at this hour. I'm Rob Hughes.
I'm Gravere. Denzel, we're going to begin with a car careening out of control and crashing into a DeKalb County school. Atlanta News First reporter Don Shipman just arrived at Ivey Prep Academy on Memorial Drive. What do we know, Don? Do we know about injuries?
Yeah, we just found out moments ago that 3 students were injured. Those 3 students now taken to the hospital. Also, the driver of that vehicle, you can see it right there in the distance. The driver of that vehicle also taken to the hospital. Now, here's what I can tell you happened. That car hit that building right there. This is a charter school. This is the Ivey Prep Academy, and I'm told that the car slammed into an area of the building where there's a classroom on the other side of that wall. So again, breaking news here this afternoon. We have just learned that 3 students were hurt. Those 3 students were taken to the hospital, as well as the driver of that vehicle right there. This is all happening at this charter school, Ivey Prep Academy, here in DeKalb County. This is just off of Memorial Drive. Right now, there are a number of emergency personnel here on the scene, police on the scene, and then we also have school officials. School officials telling us just a short time ago that they do plan to hold a news conference and give an update on exactly what happened here. We also know that parents have been coming to the school here to pick up their kids. They are gathering on the other side of the building, and we plan to head in that direction as soon as we can. But again, I can tell you once again here, we're following breaking news here in DeKalb County where 3 students were hurt after a vehicle slammed into that building right there. It is a charter school. On the other side of that wall, a classroom. The driver also taken to the hospital. How this all unfolded, we do not know at this point, but we'll keep you posted on all of this and bring you the latest information once we do get it. For now, though, we're live here in DeKalb County. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, Don, scary scene there. Thanks for the information. Of course, like he said, we will continue to keep you updated. We're monitoring these breaking stories. As soon as we get more information, we will pass it right along to you here on air. You can download the Atlanta News First app to get breaking details on the go. Right now, I'm joined by First Alert Meteorologist.
Wanted to tune into that on-air coverage for you as we connected with our reporter Don Shipman from the ground. That is the latest on what we know. What we're working to find out is any word from Ivey Prep Academy. You heard just moments ago that they are expected to update us here shortly. We're going to bring that to you live on here, especially those parents that are waiting to pick up their children at this time. For those that are still with us, we just got word that a media briefing will be happening shortly. We hope to hear updates regarding this active and ongoing investigation from Ivey Prep Academy officials, possibly officials from DeKalb County Police or Fire Department and other investigators on scene. So we are going to be taking you live to that press conference as soon as we find out when it starts. I believe our reporter Don Shipman said they are expected to hold that press conference momentarily. We will take you to that live coverage, bring you any updates, especially for those that are impacted by this ongoing situation. Now, as we wait for that press conference to begin, we are expected to hear from school officials. I wanted to give you some updates that just came into our newsroom. We just learned more about the driver in this situation. The driver was taken to the hospital. We are told they are in stable condition at this time, or they are stable at this time, I should say. Those three students that were also injured suffered minor injuries, none of which were life-threatening, thank goodness, but we are monitoring the condition of the driver and those students. Any updates we will bring to you on our Atlanta News First app, as well as on here where you're watching. Right now, what we're holding on to is waiting for that press conference to start. We are expecting to hear from Ivey Prep Academy school officials any moment now, and possibly investigators, DeKalb County Police and DeKalb County Fire, who are also on scene.
Thank you very much.
No problem. S-O-N. Yes, ma'am.
And as you saw from that shot there, we are going to be hearing from DeKalb County Fire Department right now on the update regarding this ongoing investigation at Ivey Prep Academy. So let's listen in here. I believe they'll be starting momentarily.
S-O-N. Last name is Daniels. So at 10:30, approximately 10:30 this morning here at Ivey Preparatory Academy, a passenger vehicle entered the classroom via exterior wall, resulting in three children being injured and one person being the driver injured as well, all transported to the hospital.
Is that a wall, a window?
The car actually entered through the window of an exterior wall of the school building.
And you said that's a classroom? So
Yes,
was
from
there
run.
like a teacher and how many kids were in there?
I don't have that information, but I do know that 3 children were injured. Juveniles were injured
What kind
in
of
the incident.
injuries did they have?
They were all mild to moderate injuries when we transported them. I haven't gotten the latest exactly from them at this present time.
Do you think the car made contact with anybody or like desk hit them or?
It's hard to say at this point. Again, all the CAD PDs on scene doing their investigation. I'm sure that will turn up in that.
Can you tell us about the response that you guys had? Obviously being called out here, what do you guys have to do?
Yeah, so our initial response for something like this, this type of incident, obviously is we're worried about life safety. Again, not knowing what's going on inside the building at the time when we arrive. This also being a school, so juveniles are going to be involved. A little bit different train of thought. We want to make sure that everybody's okay. A lot of times when vehicles are enter a structure, we want to make sure nobody's up under the vehicle, pinned. In this particular case, the driver was inside of the vehicle and he was entrapped, and we were able to get him out safely.
As far as the students, though, they were all free. I mean, you didn't have to free students or anything.
No students were trapped under cars or anything like that. Again, we did have 3 juvenile students that were injured as a result of the incident.
What explanation has the driver given you for what was happening?
That's going to be a question for PD, and I'm sure during their investigation they'll have those questions answered.
And earlier, you guys,
Was he conscious in the vehicle when you got out?
The driver was conscious when we got to the vehicle. Yes, sir. I don't.
Possible medical emergency?
Not at this time. Again, that investigation will turn up those answers.
when the children were transported, was it for precautionary measures, or were the injuries part of the journey?
So oftentimes we do like to transport again for precautionary reasons. It's called mechanism, is what we call it. In this particular case, some kids had injuries. Again, they were minor to moderate at best. Luckily, nobody was injured past that point.
Did anyone witness the approach of the car? Describe it?
Not to me. Again, that would probably be a police department question. They were going to investigate and get those answers.
How unusual is this for a car to enter a school?
Well, enter a school is kind of unusual, but again, the times that we're in, we're just having some issues everywhere globally with these type of incidents happening. So it's becoming more common.
And you said 3 children were transported. Do we know what hospital?
I don't. I know that they were transported to a children's hospital, but I'm not sure exactly which one at this point.
How extensive were the injuries on the driver?
Driver didn't have many injuries. He was just entrapped being where the car was. He was unable to get out, but he had just minor injuries as well.
Any damage to the school?
Obviously, the front of the building will have to be repaired. I haven't been inside personally, so I'm not sure what the damage is done on the inside of the structure. But structurally, the building is sound.
But you expect those 3 students to be okay?
Absolutely, yes. All 3 students will be okay.
Were you able to see, I mean, I know investigators are on the scene, any skid marks leading up to the school, or?
Again, that's something that we really don't look into, especially being this early into it. We just want to make sure that everybody's okay from a medical standpoint. The police department will look into those answers.
So if you don't mind circling back, describe when you got to the scene here at 10:30 when the call came out.
Well, obviously, school was in session, so there were several people outside. When we arrived on scene, we immediately rushed to the aid of the people on the inside of the building, making entry inside and making sure that everybody was okay.
Was that particular room at full capacity? I know 3 kids were injured, but was that a full classroom, or
Teaching and learning going on?
It was, but again, I don't know how many students were actually inside at the time.
Okay.
I don't have that answer.
Thank you.
No problem. Everybody good?
So school is now closed?
Yes. School is now closed. Yeah, it's going to be done for today, I would imagine.
So is parents that are picking up their kids and stuff like that, or how are the kids getting home?
I would have to let the representatives from the school answer that question.
Do we know the age range of these kids?
I don't, and if we did, we probably wouldn't say right now. We'll let that information be handled in the investigation.
Do you anticipate your driver being charged with anything?
That's a question for PD. I don't have those answers.
As far as your role is concerned, it's kind of concluded. You kind of got here, first responders. So
Yes.
What's your primary reason for being out here?
That's correct. Again, all of our units are gone at this time. We've fulfilled our duties here. We've sent 4 people to the hospital, and we've also made sure that the structure is sound for people to occupy the structure.
So now it's in the hands of law enforcement?
Of the police department, yes, sir. DeKalb PD. Good.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, those updates for you just from DeKalb County Fire Department. 4 people taken to the hospital, 3 of those students. Now, we know those students suffered minor injuries. They are not life-threatening injuries. As you heard from DeKalb County Fire Department, that those students are expected to be okay. The driver as well has been listed as stable, so we are going to follow this investigation right now. I believe our chopper is going to be leaving the scene here shortly, but as you heard from officials, this investigation is going to remain ongoing. DeKalb County Police leading the front on this. We are going to continue to bring you updates on our digital platforms, AtlantaNewsFirst.com and the Atlanta News First app. Any developments that we learn, we will bring to you on those. For now,